Again, if anybody has any problems with the chat, let me know now. Okay. Right, get started then. I can see a few people that were on my earlier session, so bear with me as I introduce myself again. I hope you managed to get something to eat during that time. Chloe, Francesca, nice to see you again. Okay, so a bit of background to myself. Okay, just so you know that I know what I'm talking about. Um, I completed my master's degree in digital media in 2005, very long time ago. So it just shows my age. I'm clean shaven at the moment, but if I don't shave for a few days, it is grey, right? So I'm actually older than I look at the moment. 2005 was a time when Facebook started getting popular and MySpace days were over. Twitter started getting popular. So social media was kind of, starting up, okay, at that time. And that's when I started my kind of career. I worked for the BBC as a journalist for 5 years till 2009 when the recession hit. Then I changed career paths and went into training. Worked as a corporate trainer for the NHS for another 5 years. After that, I went into banking, worked for Barclays. That's when I discovered blockchain in 2014. Helped them understand blockchain, which is what you're now seeing is like digital currencies. The technology behind that is a blockchain technology. It is important to understand these emerging tech. That's my kind of field. So AI is of great interest to me, social media marketing, digital marketing, and blockchain technology. This is the kind of stuff that I've worked on around. So hopefully I can help you out understanding emerging tech and how you can apply some of this, amazing stuff to your own career paths as well. But we're here for digital marketing, so that's what we're going to cover. I've also been a esports entrepreneur coach after COVID. Run my own business for a few years, and now I'm doing this. Okay, so hopefully, I'll be able to share some of my knowledge and experience, and you can do the same. You can help each other as well, because we're all kind of from different walks of life. We've all had different experiences. We're here for different reasons. So it's really good to kind of be able to share that knowledge. So don't feel afraid to kind of share your knowledge and your opinions, but also we need to respect each other's opinions as well. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you in a second. We should be able to see it already, actually. Right, so let's move on to the first slide here. Okay, course intent. Okay, so the intention of this session is to understand the role of digital marketing and how it helps an organization to achieve its goals, understand the sales funnel in digital marketing, understand the impact of the sales journey on a customer experience, and understand um, and be able to create customer personas. Okay, so here it says like create an email account. At this point in time, we're not going to create an email account straight away, but for these courses, ideally, if you what I would suggest is create an email account so that when we're doing email marketing or anything else, you have a separate one so it doesn't kind of mix in with your personal email. Okay, but if we get everybody to do email accounts right now, it just take up a lot of time. Okay, so we're not going to do that right now, but it's a suggestion for the future. Just open a new Gmail account. I don't know if anybody uses Yahoo or AOL these days, but just Gmail accounts are quite simple. The only reason I'm not going to ask you to do it now is sometimes it asks for a phone number, and if you've already used that number, you're going to have to find another number, and it might cause some issues because there's quite a few of us here. Okay, so we'll carry on from here. So, what is digital marketing? Okay, so I'm going to choose somebody randomly just to kind of explain to me what digital marketing is in their own understanding. Okay, so let's see who can I pick on. Gary, you okay? Can you hear me?
Hello, I can just hear you now.
Okay, hi Gary.
Um, just obviously, digital, the computer world, any sort of advertising that's predominantly more online. and even targeted to a certain audience.
Yeah, some good points there. So online, digital, promoting something, getting the word out, creating awareness. Okay, these are all things, and also you said targeting. Okay, so targeting an audience, knowing who you're actually trying to sell that product or service to, right? So all of this is a part of digital marketing. Well done. Okay, so let's carry on and actually go into the main part of this. Okay, so if we now focus on what digital marketing actually is, right? So I've got a definition here. So digital marketing is the promotion of products and services or brands using digital channels and technologies. It focuses on reaching audiences through the internet and electronic devices, allowing businesses to connect with customers in a more targeted, measurable, and interactive way. So it's basically saying that you're promoting products and services using platforms, online digital platforms, social media, reaching out to an audience, creating awareness, and then selling it to these audience, but they have to make the decision. So we need to do certain things to get them to buy, and that's a sales funnel that we're going to talk about. And basically, once you targeted that audience and you know what their problems are, you're trying to solve a problem, provide a solution, and get them to buy off you. Okay, and then we need to measure that. We need to measure the success of that, making sure that we're doing it right. Is there any improvements that we can make? Okay, and it says interactive ways. So basically, it's media, it's digital, so we can be interactive. Media was not always digital. In the analog days, we're talking about radio, newspapers. Still it was interactivity, but not as good. I mean, sometimes it took a long time. Sometimes the quality wasn't great. But we have everything on our mobile phones nowadays, and most people got a mobile phone nowadays. So there's no excuse. It's only about intent and action. Okay, we struggle sometimes with action, taking action, and it's about understanding how we can actually do this and why we should do this. But before we get into the sales funnel side, we need to understand the different types of businesses that may use digital marketing. So businesses operate in different types of markets, okay? And depending on which markets and who your customers are, they will sell products differently. So we have B2C, B2B, online, and physical. So we're going to go through each one of these so we understand them. So B2C, okay, B2C, you might have heard of B2B, business to business, but might not have heard of B2C. So let's look at B2C. So B2C is really business to customer direct. Okay, so we've all done it. We've been on Amazon, we've gone on eBay, we bought stuff. We basically had a direct connection with the product provider. Okay, so if you think of yourself as rather than a consumer, okay, it's easy to think of ourselves as a consumer because we consume all the time, right? We're consumers when we watch Netflix, when we go to Asda, when we're buying petrol, we're always consumers. But for now, just think of yourself as a service provider, the product provider, okay? Not the customer. So if you're the business, right, when you have a direct connection with your customer, they're buying directly from you, then it's a B2C, okay? So they focus on emotional appeal and brand experience to attract buyers. So there's a lot of psychology involved to get the person to buy. Okay. Amazon, they use cookies. Okay. So you've clicked on a wardrobe, you were considering to buy a new wardrobe, then you decided not to because it's too expensive or it's out of your budget right now. But you're browsing the internet and you see adverts of wardrobes elsewhere. Is use cookies, and it's that emotional thing that they use, right? Psychology that you're seeing it all the time. Subconsciously, you're taking it in, and these are things that happen when it's a B2C. Transactions are usually smaller in value, but they occur more frequently. Okay, so again, Amazon, Temu, if you use Temu, all these products are like a few dollars here and there, but they add up, and it's a numbers game. So marketing often uses digital channels such as social media, online ads, and emails to reach a broader audience. Okay, so it's all about numbers. Business to business, B2B, okay, involves transaction between two businesses, such as a manufacturer selling products to a wholesaler or retailer. So, for example, you could have a company that supplies office equipment to other businesses, or a drinks distributor selling pallets of soft drinks to supermarkets, or a drinks distributor selling supplies to a pub. Okay, so one business is a supplier of another business. So business has a partnership with other businesses, and they're doing business with businesses rather than individual customers. Offline, okay, so we live in a world where a lot of digital products, a lot of physical products as well, but sometimes you got to think about offline now, because after COVID, a lot of businesses did go online, but some that didn't or couldn't, they failed, they disappeared. And we often mention about the high street, right? It's not as good as it used to be. It's only hairdressers and charity shops. Why is this happening now? Because a lot of companies now realize the potential of being on a global market. Okay, you can get more customers. You don't have to wait for somebody to walk down the high street and buy something. Okay, so the world has changed, and the world has changed. You might say for the better or the worse. You have different opinions on that. But offline businesses are those that provide physical presence, Marks and Spencers, for example. Okay, where buyers can physically touch and feel the product and they're purchasing. Okay, so this includes retail shops, face-to-face sales. Customers can see and touch the product, try it before they buy it. Okay, and it's simple as that. But when we're talking about online, this is something that's been around for a couple of decades, a little bit more, but now it's like it's the norm now. And I think there has been a behavioral change over COVID during that time. Whether you believe COVID was a real virus or it was some kind of government strategy or whatever, we'll leave that out for now. But in my opinion, from my experience of being in this field and everything, I almost well, I make predictions on changes in the world, right? When it comes to technology, and I've been right a few times. Talk about blockchain technology. When I first looked at blockchain, it was 2014. When I first heard about decentralization and digital currencies, is 2014. At that time, the price of Bitcoin was about $150. Okay, and I mined Bitcoin. So I actually used a machine to mine Bitcoin at that time. And people thought I was crazy that this is the future money. How do I think of it now? I think it's a government strategy it was an experiment to introduce digital currencies, okay, in the future, and that future is now. So predictions of some kind of global change was kind of correct, because I saw it as a reset, a global reset coming up, and I think that global reset was during that COVID period. And during that time, there was massive behavioral changes. Okay. So my dad has an Indian restaurant in Skegness, and I did some deliveries during the time when he had to shut his restaurant and go into just doing takeaways. And people they left their money in plastic bags outside the door when I was delivering, literally thought they're going to catch something from the money, or I don't know what it is, but it was a psychological change in consumerism. Okay, people didn't want to touch coins or notes. I actually know people who washed it with detergent, you know? So, you've got people washing their notes and coins with detergent because they're going to get some invisible virus. Now, imagine this happening on a large scale globally, where people are fearful of money or touching stuff or being around other people. It's a social change, okay? Why am I talking about this on this slide? Well, it's a massive shift in how we consume. Okay. Think of how much money Amazon made during that time. And our behaviors changed so much that we just order things on Amazon now. A lot of us do. High streets struggled, right? I think things are changing again. People are, moving, but the consumer mindset has changed. People realize how convenient it is to order things online now, right? And that, as a business person, you have to accept that having an online presence is very important. Okay, the world has changed. Working from home, another massive behavioral change that happened during that time. Okay, people working from home. Now you've got hybrid jobs, remote jobs. Yes, companies are trying to get you back into going to the office, but if you look at the efficiency, okay, getting an office in London very hard, very expensive. Rather work from home, right? Massive behavioral change. So online presence and online business is the way forward. It is how it is now, and that we need to embrace that. Okay, but again, you can go 360 and have an online presence, build an online business, and then have a retail or a physical presence as well. Okay, and that is also happening. Okay, so there's some advantages of this. Okay, it's 24/7, your business. Okay, you've got a global audience, you can reach more people. Okay, and if you have an e-commerce site, people can buy while you're sleeping, so you could be making money while you sleep. Okay, so there's lots of benefits of having an online presence. When we're talking about digital marketing itself, you've got different characteristics of digital marketing. You've got digital and technology based. Obviously, we're using technology. Target audience reach. Okay, so you have to know who you're targeting. Okay, you need to know your audience, and I'm going to talk about how to do that. Okay, with personas, measurable and trackable. You need to know how much like viewers you're getting or how many followers you're getting. Is your content working? You need to change your strategy, so it needs to be measured. Interactive and engaged. You need to talk to your customers, right? If they like you, know you, and trust you, they're gonna buy from you. You have to build that rapport, and that's what comes from content marketing. Okay, some of us are camera shy. Some of us are not going to turn our cameras on even on this session. That's fine. You don't have to have a face like on camera. Okay, there's a lot of content that's out there that's created that's faceless and still making lots of money. Okay, so there's different ways of doing it. You don't have to be in front of a camera, but obviously if you do, then there's that personality that you can bring out. And this is also something important. So that engagement with your audience, nobody's going to buy from you straight away. They need to engage with you. Sometimes they engage after they purchase. Okay, they give you reviews and so on. But that's still engagement. Algorithms for personalization, right? So you can train platforms to give you certain things. AI is everywhere. When you watch something on Netflix and it recommends another movie, it's using AI. It's using machine learning. Okay, you might not think of it, but it is. Amazon's using machine learning. So basically, if you train it, just like if you could train ChatGPT, it will help you. Okay. So training products that you're using, platforms that you're using to give you exactly what you want is a skill. Okay. So for example, if you use TikTok and you're creating cosmetics content because you're selling cosmetics, you're in the health niche, for example, then you want to be watching content that is relevant to your product. In that way, when you're browsing, you'll get content relevant to cosmetics, health. That will give you content that you can see that is working and what hashtags they're using, the methods they're using, which is going to give you ideas. All right. So you're training your own platform to give you content, which is your resource to create content, if that makes sense. Okay, so the next one is automation. I slightly touched on it. Automation with AI, machine learning. There's a lot of products now out there that's integrated AI. Even Zoom, we have AI companion on Zoom where it gets all your minutes for your meeting. Every single platform out there is looking towards automation. Every business out there, well, I say every, but loosely, but a lot of businesses out there are basically trying to automate because they know the next man is. Okay. If they're not, they're going to fall behind. So understanding AI is important. Try not to overcomplicate things with AI. It's there's so much content out there that it's confusing, right? But it's basically automation comes from machine learning. Machine learning is basically computers taking in data and understanding, making predictions. Okay. So if you give it 10,000 images of cats, it will predict what the next cat would be, so it bases information or knowledge on data. If you don't give it data, it doesn't know anything. Okay. But the difference between a computer and an AI is that it's making its own decision. But we're not, this is a different subject altogether. I'm not going to go too deep into that. But automation is here and we should take advantage of it. Okay. It saves time. It saves us time. And if you're a one-man band or one-woman band, you're trying to do everything yourself, you're going to run out of time. You're not going to be able to do everything. So dynamic content based on user profiles as well. So basically, you're looking at different users, different potential buyers, and you're understanding who that person is. And this is about persona. This is about, you can call it persona, you can call it avatar. You need to understand who your customer is. It's a lot easier to create content when you do that. And I'll explain further very soon. And cost effectiveness as well. Okay, being making making everything cost effective. So I kind of been through all of these slides already. So it breaks it down into every single one, which I've done. So digital technology, we're using digital technology here, social media, websites, search engines. Basically, we're taking advantage of AI, we're taking advantage of virtual reality. It's continuing to expand. It's not there yet, but augmented reality is there. For example, if you go to IKEA and download the IKEA app, you can actually point your IKEA app in your living room somewhere where you would have put the sofa and superimpose a virtual version of the sofa in that location to see how it will look before you go to purchase. So how they're using AI and they're using augmented reality. They're using future tech. Future is now. So technology is very important to understand and recognize and take advantage of, and not shy away from it or think, oh, it's not for me or this and that, because you'll only hurt yourself. Targeted audience. Knowing who you're targeting is very important. Otherwise, you're just going to create content, or you're just going to try to do these campaigns where you really don't know who you're speaking to. Literally, it's like speaking to a crowd of people and hoping for the best. It doesn't work like that. You need to know exactly who you're targeting. And there's these platforms like Facebook, for example. When you're trying to run a Facebook ad, you'll take you through different things that you need to do. And some of the things will be around demographics, interests, online behaviors. It will know exactly who you're going to market to. So, for example, it's a football game, okay? And I want to market to. I'll use my dad's Indian restaurant in Skegness, okay? So he wants more customers, okay? He tells me to advertise on Facebook, okay? So what I could do is I could basically ring around an area, okay? So it could be location, could be Skegness, Lincoln, Boston, that area, okay, where it's practical for people to come and travel and come and dine at the restaurant. It could be because there's a football match going on, people who like football, okay. It could be a specific age range, but how do I work that out? Well, demographics will show on Facebook how many people of that in that region actually have mentioned something about an Indian curry, okay, and how many males and how many female. What is the greater percentage? How it could be more men are into Indian curry on a Friday night. How many are likely to purchase? Well, if we're targeting, if there's a football match, most lads who get together to watch a football match might think about, okay, let's get a pizza or a curry, right? So we're now going specific in one location, one group of people who are into football, who are basically most likely to come and dine at my Indian at the Indian restaurant, right? You're just spending money on those people. Facebook will only target those individuals. So you're not wasting money on individuals who don't like Indian, right? Who don't live in the area. What's the point of me advertising to somebody who lives in Leicester? There's no point, right? So you're not wasting that money. So that targeted audience reach can be achieved through Google ads, through Facebook ads. So the actual platform's already there. We just need to know how to use it and target our audience. But again, it's also important for us to form our own avatar. And sometimes using these platforms, it helps us to create our own avatar. Okay, so you're not creating an ad, but you're going through the processes just to understand who your target audience is, who would likely buy your product. Okay, measurable and trackable. Digital marketing campaigns can be monitored in real time to measure the success, the ROI, such as clicks, website visits, sales conversions, the software that allows you to see where the mouse is moving majority of the time. Like if you created a website, you want to see where the clients, your visitors are clicking, right? And you can do that using heat maps. If in Google, if you type heat maps website, it will bring up services out there, softwares out there that you can use to do that. So you'll know exactly where they're clicking, where you should put the button. So this is important information. Also, the conversions, like how many people are buying, what videos are being watched. So measurable, trackable. This is a big thing. Interactive and engaging, again, I've talked about it. Being able to talk to your customers or potential customers, engaging with them, even if they're leaving TripAdvisor reviews, and if you're not you're responding, it's bad for business, right? You want to be polite, respond, thank them, apologize, whatever you need to do customer service wise. Interaction is important. It's a whole service that you're providing. It's not just about selling a product, it's the whole journey. Algorithms, okay, for personalization. So basically, these algorithms are on Google, YouTube, Instagram. They all use algorithms to determine which ads or posts users see. Okay, so personalization increases the relevance. For example, showing an ad for sportswear to someone who searches for gym equipment. Okay, algorithms does that for you. Okay, so if your product is in health, then you want to be creating content that is related to health, obviously. It might not be directly towards your product, but something similar. Miriam, you got your hand up? You're good? I just saw somebody. I think it was Miriam. Put your hand up. Are
Oh,
you okay?
hi.
You
Yeah,
okay?
sorry. Um, y yeah, you said to use Google Heat Maps, but I was just
Yeah.
wondering if there are any tools that you recommend yourself.
Um, I haven't used heat maps for a very long time. Okay, it was a time when I was learning WordPress, but that was like 10, 15 years ago. So I'm sure there are other products. If you do a quick search on Google and put website heat maps, I'm sure there's new services that will come up, websites that allow that. But
Okay.
if I find anything during a break or something, I'll put it into the chat for you. Okay,
Okay, thank
thanks.
you.
No worries. Okay, so carrying on, automation. Talked about AI. Automation uses technology to carry out repetitive marketing tasks automatically, such as scheduling social media posts, sending follow-up emails, managing ad campaigns, saves time and ensures consistent customer communication. So MailChimp, HubSpot, these are all now using AI. So if you're signed up to these platforms, they will automate a lot of things. It used to be automated kind of in the past, like for example, sending out emails to 1,000 people on your email list. You can see that as automation, but it's just a list of emails. It's just sending the same email to. When we're talking about automation, it makes more sense when you're thinking about specific tasks that it needs to do. Like for example, if you have created 100 social media posts, when to post it, what time, when to basically, put out an ad. But automation nowadays, automation can go so far that you have a budget, you've attached your bank account to it, it takes the money from your bank account, pays for an ad, basically it does a full ad campaign, gets the results, and then it basically gives you a report, and it also makes money for you basically, and it is taking the money from your account, does the marketing, and is even provided the report after doing all the marketing. So that kind of automation is something that a digital marketer in your company would have done. So you can almost replace a person in a company with the automation nowadays. Okay. Usually repetitive tasks are the ones that are at most risk for when it comes to AI. People think AI is going to take over jobs, and it's true, but you shouldn't be scared, because always there's ways where humans are going to be relevant. Like people have empathy, we have emotion. Emotional intelligence is something that we need to develop if you're going to have an added advantage over AI. Okay. Also, repetitive tasks like in sales, retail, some things like if you go into Tesco's, Asda, most of the tills are self-scanned, right? Self-service. Go back 10 years, 10, 15 years ago when they first started, you'd think, the people at Asda or Tesco's, they're lazy. Why don't they, scan it for us, right? Why are they getting us to do it? That was something that would go through your mind. But nowadays, what do? We'd rather do it ourselves, right? Than wait in a queue. Yeah, it seems quicker, right? But we're actually doing what other people got paid to do. In the near future, what's going to happen is even that's going to go. Okay. And there will be some of us who'll be negative about that. But at the end of the day, we get used to it and then we embrace it. That's how technology works. Okay. My dad hated smartphones. Now he loves smartphones. He can't live without a smartphone. It doesn't matter what generation you're from, technology will catch up with you. Automation, AI is here and it's not going anywhere. We have to embrace it. Okay, so dynamic content based on user profile. So basically, what we're talking about here is content that changes automatically to match the user behavior. Okay, so you might have a website banner, okay, but it's changing depending on the visitor. Okay, and that's a form of automation as well. Email campaigns that can adapt to offer products recommended for each recipient. So it's like it's not the same email campaign for every single person because you might not be as efficient in that way. So is that adaptation of email, sending a specific email out to a different user, or changing the banner? That's automation, and AI is doing that. Okay, in the background. And this software, how do we access it? We need to use the software. Okay, cost effectiveness. Digital marketing is often cheaper and more efficient than traditional advertising methods. Think about billboards and all the other newspapers, and it was harder and like more costly. But when you're thinking of social media ads, and especially when you know how to target, it's a smaller budget and you can have a massive impact, positive impact, like sales, because it's on a global scale. If you put a billboard out, it's going to be only in one location, isn't it? Okay. So many digital channels such as social media offer, sorry, or emails offer low cost or free promotion options. Okay. The ability to target specific audiences ensures money isn't wasted on uninterested views. And it's that example I gave you about people who love football and who might want to get a takeaway, right? So being able to target. So, what market do you belong to? So, all of us, we're all from different walks of life. We might have our own business, we might just want a qualification. You'll have your own reasons why you're here. But if you do belong to a certain market, like your business, I want you to type that into the chat if you're comfortable. If you're not comfortable, don't. But whatever market you think you belong to, okay, as a business person, as a provider of a product or service, put it into the chat. Okay. So if you do that now, I'm just going to bring up the Zoom chat so I can see. Okay, let's see what people are typing in. Okay, so software developer. Somebody put, so that is a role as a obviously a software developer, but as a business that fits into technology, doesn't it? Okay, so as you're typing your businesses and basically what you feel you fall into, okay, I'm getting all sorts now. I'm getting gardener, I'm getting online, yeah, so different people. So let me kind of clarify when I say markets, okay? I'm gonna talk about the biggest markets when it comes to sales. If you're trying to make money online, or you're trying to make money in general, we can categorize markets, okay? Health, wealth, relationships. Okay, there are lots of more markets out there, but health, wealth, and relationships are the biggest markets where they make the most money. Who can tell me why? Anybody? Health, wealth, and relationships. Why are these biggest markets like
Because they're relevant to everyone.
relevant to everyone? Yeah, a good answer. Anything else? Anyone? Health, wealth, and relationships.
They're very important in
They're
people's
very
lives.
important. Yeah, I'll tell you why. Yeah, these are the markets where we have the most problems. Okay, health problems, wealth problems, money problems. relationship problems, if you think about it, right? When people have problems that they want to solve, they're willing to throw money at it. Okay. So if somebody's trying to stop smoking, trying to lose weight, they're willing to spend money, right? To do that. When it comes to wealth, if somebody tells you can make X amount of money by doing something, people will actually spend money that they don't even have or find money somehow to make money. Relationships, Tinder, for example, to find a relationship partner or get some advice, they'll pay lots of money. It's where somebody, Debbie's wrote, it's where people are happy to spend money. Yeah. Okay. So these are the top, like higher level health, wealth, and relationships. So within that, you can have different niches. Okay. So you can't become the health expert of the world, but you can be specific to a specific audience that and know exactly what you do. Okay. So we in a previous lesson this morning, I talked about having a vision and having a mission statement. So knowing what you do. So I could be a person who helps uh, people to lose weight after pregnancy, for example, right? And if that's the case, then my target audience could be a specific gender, right? So I would know exactly who my audience is, but I still fall under health. But I'm very specific, so I minimize my audience, my competition. I set myself apart. Okay, so understanding your market, which market you're in, is important. So I'm just reading some of this graphic design, web design. Okay, illustration, care about what people care about the most. Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, emotional. So another interesting thing is if you think about during the COVID period again, what was most impacted? It was your health, right? Because obviously it's the pandemic. It was your wealth because people started losing jobs, right? People couldn't go to work, and your relationship, social distancing. How about that? The three biggest things that we care about were impacted at the same time. Yeah, if you think about it. And that was the if you could understand this at that time, and a lot of people did, health, wealth, and relationships all being impacted, that means everybody's got problems. Right, during that time, people are lonely, people are struggling with money, people are struggling with their health. If you can provide solutions during that time, you're going to make money. So even though it is a negative, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people with the entrepreneur cap on started thinking business. Yeah, started thinking, all right, I'm going to start teaching people online, right? I'm going to start an esports company because people are sitting out and gaming all day, right? I'm going to start helping people to connect with each other. Yeah. So even though you may think it's a bad economic situation right now, don't think it negative. There's always opportunities, right? So I'm just reading comments. Lots of people picking up random hobbies during COVID. Feels like Yep, yep. So definitely, I mean, during that time, people started just thinking about their life, in general, and where they're gonna go and what they're gonna do. So it was a depressing time, but if you could go overcome that depression, um, then it's Discord seemed to go boom during the COVID. Yep, Discord, Amazon. Um, there's other platforms, Teams, Microsoft Teams. Schools started using Teams, didn't they? Yeah. So it's important to understand this. Why? Because what I'm trying to get to you is even now that COVID is gone and the budgets come out, the economy in this country, a lot of people saying, "Oh, I'm leaving the UK. There's nothing. This country's going down, and all this. All that negativity is not what you should channel. It's the opportunities you need to look at. Okay, that's what we need to think about. Okay, the positive sides of it. There's always positives. There's always somebody making money, right? Whether it's the government or whether there's always somebody making money. But why not you? Okay, you need to understand the situation, and that's what businesses do. The other thing is you need to understand digital. Okay, we're in a digital world. Okay, so as long as you understand that as well, it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you're Lincolnshire. Okay. I had an excuse for a long time that when I did the corporate NHS job, I had a long time I had it in my head that I'm stuck in Skegness. There's no jobs. NHS is the largest employer. I'm not going to move from here. Okay. My manager gets 30K. I get 25K. I can't go beyond my managers. I'm stuck. But then something hit me and I started thinking, you know what? It's an excuse. How can I make money online? And I just thought I needed to quit the NHS job. One day I quit and I started looking at how to make money online. And that's when I figured out, actually it was on a kind of a video call somehow. I must have typed in how to make money online. And then obviously the algorithms and everything brought up a video. Ended up watching that for a long time and I understood the sales funnel. But he wasn't teaching me the sales funnel. He was teaching me how he makes money online. All right. And then at the end of it all, the price of the product was like £20,000, which I didn't have, right? But then I clicked away from it or tried to click away from it, but it didn't let me. A pop-up came up. I said, hang on a minute, you won't get this, you won't get that, you won't get this, but you'll get everything else for £5,000. I said, no, I'm not interested. I tried to click away. Another pop-up came up, right? How about this, and this for 500? I thought, still, I can afford that. And I paid for it. And I found myself on a course. But actually, what I went through was a sales funnel. He put me through a sales funnel, right? But I didn't know. But then I learned about sales funnels, and that's what we're gonna basically learn about. Okay, it's important for us to understand that every customer goes through a sales funnel, goes through a journey. If you go to McDonald's, what happens when you go to McDonald's? Is there a sales funnels at McDonald's through the drive-through? Anyone? Do we go through a sales funnel?
Yes.
Who said yes? Nicola?
Mhm.
Yep. Why is that a sales funnel?
Because you're going in a particular direction they want you to go.
Explain further, if you can, please.
Choosing a menu that they present to you. If you're in a car driving down a particular path where you can't get out again,
Yeah, true.
and paying, and then you have to go out.
Yeah, that's true. But what I'm getting at is what you go to buy and what you end up buying. Yeah,
They do
always try to
upsells.
upsell you, don't they? Yeah.
upsells, right? You go for a coffee, you end up buying something else, right? And this is upsells. Like if you go for an Indian and you have they make more money on the poppadoms than anything else, right? It's just like the appetizers, the drinks. That's what makes the money. Okay. In curries, PC World, if they don't sell the insurance, they're not making money. Okay, that's why they push the insurance so much. There's always sales funnels everywhere. Okay, to understand sales funnel, what we're going to do very soon now is very important as a marketer. Okay, because you need to know where your customer is and the journey the customer is on to get them to turn into buyers. Okay, so let's think about this now. Digital marketing strategies. Okay, digital marketing strategies. Search engine optimization, pay per click, content marketing, social media marketing, email marketing, and affiliate and influencer marketing. So we're going to go through these and learn a little bit more about them. Okay. So these are basically strategies. Okay. If I go back one, just one, go back here. Okay. So digital marketing strategies are different methods and techniques businesses use to promote products and services, okay, online. Each one is aimed at attracting, engaging, converting customers, but work differently. So search engine optimization is basically using keywords on a website. You're making sure that wherever they type, it brings up your content, okay, not somebody else's, okay? So optimizing your content for search engines, that's what it is, okay? And it's a bit different when it comes to social media, but it's still there. Like on TikTok, for example, you might put like a title on the screen, on the video. But even that is part of search engine optimization. The algorithms will pick up that. Okay, if you use specific words, so hashtags, for example. Okay, pay per click. So you're paying only when people are clicking. Okay, so that is a method that is saving you money. Only when they click, that my ad spend will go. Content marketing can be very much um, organic. Like literally, I can be teaching people. This is the method I've used in the past on Facebook, where I've just created content helping people to understand crypto, helping people not to get scammed. This is not a blockchain. This one coin is a scam. It doesn't have a blockchain. That's all I was doing for 6 years. And what that did was it built trust. People learned about blockchain technology. They understood what all this is, and they also stayed safe. They built trust. Okay, and that is content marketing in the end, because in 2017 I sold an ebook for $60 and it went crazy. Okay, all I did was I wrote an ebook. um, I'm selling it for $60 and I put that on my Facebook page, right? And the number of messages I got was crazy. I didn't even expect it. Ended up making about $3,000 in 2 days. But then PayPal blocked me. Okay, PayPal blocked me, and they wanted my passport and this and that. But eventually, I got the money. But it only happened because those people trusted me over that period of time. Ended up then moving on to like an application that I paid for £300 a month, but people subscribed, paid $20 a month for content for and I took it to about 500 people. So if you think about 500 times $20 per month, that's a lot of money, right? Yeah. So that's what's possible when you build an audience, when you build trust. If you're willing to give content, help people, it's going to come back to you in good ways, and that's content marketing. Okay, social media marketing is more broad. You're basically using all social media platforms. You're regenerating that content. You're repurposing content. So, for example, how to repurpose content: create a long form video. Okay, then you can use AI or software to snip it up. You can edit it yourself. You can make shorts from that. You can get a transcript from that and create blog articles. You can take snapshots from that to post on Instagram. Once you create your long form, you only do it once. One long form video, chop it up into pieces, put it across social media. It's repurposing content. You're not having to create multiple pieces of content. You create one long form, chop it up, and put it across. Now, to do that, it's going to take you ages, right? That's where automation comes in. HubSpot, these platforms that allow you to do that. You just feed it the long form, and it just puts it out onto all the platforms for you, right? So social media marketing, that is efficient social media marketing. And when you look at influencers online and you think, how are they churning out 10 videos a day, 15, 20 videos out of the day? They might have a team of people working for them. Actually, a lot of them don't. They're literally working themselves, and they have software. They're using applications to get a long form of content, snip it up, and put it out there multiple times. Okay. So that's proper social media efficient marketing. And email marketing is basically writing an email and sending it to multiple people, but doing it strategically. All right. When somebody, for example, we're talking about sales funnel very, very soon. I'm sure you've seen websites where you can download something for free. You can get something for free, but to get it, you need to put your name and email address in, right? As soon as you do that, you're in the email marketing sales funnel. Okay. You will get that for free. You'll come to your inbox. You'll get that ebook on how to lose weight in 20 seconds. But at the same time, you're in their funnel. So what will happen next? Already they know that you want to lose weight. Okay. So they'll send you tips every day. So Monday, Tuesday, you're going to get tips. Wednesday, you're going to get tips. Thursday, you'll get an offer. Friday, you'll get some tips. Then next week, you'll get a special offer. And then basically, you're in that funnel. Now, over that time, you're gaining so much knowledge and benefiting that you now have a relationship with that email address or that email. And you're going to click on something in that inbox, right? Well, as soon as you click, it's going to take you to another sales funnel, and that's going to sell you something at the end. So email marketing is about that, but it has to be done properly. Okay, because if it's not done properly, you're going to just delete it, block it, put it in the spam folder, and that's it. End of story. But having an email list is very important. Like I told my previous session, that Facebook suspended me for no reason at all. I didn't even explain why. I got it back again afterwards. But 6 years of hard work, building up a following of 6,000, 7,000 people, and suddenly Facebook suspends you without giving you a clarification of why. But then I basically put in a request like for them to look into the account and why it happened. Uh, didn't get any response, but 2 weeks later it worked again. Okay, but it just shows the fragile nature of these platforms, that if you're so dependent on it and it just disappears, it can take everybody with you, everybody with it. So I lost contact of all those people, right? So that's why it's important again to capture the the contacts of your audience. An email is very old. It's been around donkey years. However, it's still relevant. It's a pure communication with individuals because most people have an email address. Okay. But also WhatsApp with phone numbers. If you can create a little group on WhatsApp and get people to join it, then you've got everybody's phone numbers. It's important to understand this, but it's also important to understand that these platforms are third party. That you don't have control. They own the platform. Okay, so you owning your audience is important. Communication. Again, I'm going to use my dad's restaurant as an example. During COVID, he made it a takeaway. Okay, for over a year, it was a takeaway. Now, how is he going to tell his customers that we're still open? Was still in business, you just can order a takeaway. He can't because he didn't never had an email list of his customers. He never collected that information. So he was dependent on people finding out word of mouth. Nicola, got your hand up.
Hi there. You mentioned that it's important to capture data outside of the social media platform. You gave yourself an example with your Facebook, that
Yeah.
Facebook shut you down and suddenly you were without your 3,000 followers. So
Yep.
owning your audience, and you mentioned an example of getting your emails, but how would you do that if you say with your Facebook followers? How would you get them to give you their email addresses?
Okay. So how I did it was basically I provided something for free. Okay. So an ebook. And what they did was a lot of them got that for free, and I got their email address. But I also had a platform called what's it called? Aweber, okay, which is basically an email campaigning platform, and it allows you to save up to 500 people for free, and after that you have to pay. Okay, you can create multiple 500s. You can do it like that, but it's worth paying for if you're serious about collecting emails. And then you basically can create your sales offer there. So you can put a free ebook there and then get people to get that free ebook, but you'll capture their email in an email list. That's the proper way of doing it. And it's the start of the sales funnel. But what I also did was I used to follow a guy called Gary Vaynerchuk. Has anybody heard of Gary V? Okay. I don't know if you have, but I've met him a couple of times as well. And I used to follow him, but at some point, when you follow these people, you got to stop following because you need to start taking action. Otherwise, you'll follow him forever, right? And never do anything. So I stopped following. But one thing I gained from him was the fact that you need to provide value. So what I did was I kept on giving value to people. Give, and then ask. That's what his motto was. Give, and then ask, not take. Right? Give, and then ask. And if you give people so much value and then request something, most people will basically listen to you. Right? So what I did was I built a rapport through Facebook Messenger. I used to message everybody and say hi, how are you, and get to know them, and that personalization worked. And over time, because with Facebook, how it works is if you're messaging people on Facebook Messenger, how Facebook sees is, oh, this person has a close connection with this person, so next time you post something on Facebook, it will actually show it to that person. That's how it understands your relationships. So when I understood that, I just messaged everybody and started building relationships. And then when I post something, all these people are actually algorithms working with me. And then what I said, look, I was honest. I said, look, I want your contact just in case, we lose touch. I don't want that. Download my download my ebook. You'll get, all this value for free. But what I'll get is a way to keep in touch with you. Right. I was just honest, and honesty worked for me. Sometimes that works,
Was
but
there
there's other.
any,
Oh,
Bilal, was there any
yes.
implications for GDPR for transferring members from your Facebook to emailing?
No, because you're asking them to opt in. Okay. As long as they opt in, because you're not taking it from Facebook's database, you're asking people to willingly click on a link and then download your ebook. And on that page, you're also having an opt-in that, or writing a little tiny sentence, like one of those fine prints that I may email you with more value and other offers. So you're
Okay.
covering your track, right? And they're willingly giving their email address. So you're covering GDPR, which is a very important thing to do. Okay. So what
Thanks.
I've done is I've collected all those emails on Aweber, and then there's other platforms you can do that. Like I'll talk about some of the. If you're on other sessions of mine, I'll introduce you to some where they collect emails, but you can download it as a CSV as well. Okay. So it just naturally collects the emails of all your uh, audiences or your customers, but you download as a CSV. Okay. So I've got a CSV of all my audience basically with where they're from and what they like and this and that. And that is my kind of Bible, like my audience. And I carry them with me wherever I go, because I email them and say, look, I've started using this platform or that platform, and it's important to do. Hopefully
Now,
that
I
makes
have a
sense.
question
Sure.
related to GDPR. I had put it in the chat, but just to ask,
Yep.
you mentioned creating like a WhatsApp, or one of the options could be like to create a WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
When a WhatsApp group is like business related,
Hmm.
is there any like GDPR thing to look out for there? Because on WhatsApp, everyone can see
Yeah.
everybody's numbers and possibly
Mm.
name or profile name. So is
Yeah.
there anything to do with GDPR in that sense?
Yeah. So when people are joining a group on WhatsApp, they're knowingly joining a group where numbers are seen. Okay. The GDPR terms and conditions and everything else is WhatsApp's responsibility, not yours. Okay, because the other person is also using WhatsApp. Okay, so when they're using it, when they're downloading it, when they're downloading the app, they would have had that information given to them that this is how it works.
But
So they've
the
already agreed to
WhatsApp
it.
channels don't show your name, do
Exactly.
they?
No. And that was my next thing I was going to tell you. If you're concerned, like sometimes you might be concerned that, oh, some of my people might contact other people and they start taking my people to their business. If you don't want that communication in between them, you can get a channel, but with a channel, you can only announce. It's a one-way thing to a large number of
There's
people.
no like interaction there.
No, no, only
Yeah,
from
no
you.
engagement. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think
community
they
group.
can. That can't they like and so you could do
Yeah,
sort of like give me a heart
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's limited
your
to that.
favorite dog or something. But
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
so with groups, same with Telegram. With groups, it's a social idea. It's like a community. Okay, the idea is they form a community. But if you're trying to be protective of phone numbers and stuff, then you want to create a channel and just kind of announce, and you don't want to share each other's phone numbers. But I think, to be honest,
Okay.
like if you're worried about GDPR, it's not your you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about putting anything in there for people, because when they used WhatsApp or downloaded it, they've already agreed to it. When they've gone into that group, they should know. Most people don't know, but if it comes to legalities, you're covered in that way, because it's not your product. It's your group, but you're using WhatsApp's product, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and they've opted to use
Yeah.
that product and
Yeah.
join the group here. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to continue now because I'm just a bit kind of conscious of time. Sylvia, do you want to? You got your hand up. Is that now or before?
Yes, just a quick question regarding
Sure.
collecting those emails from people. Which platform would you recommend to do the collection and then to email market as well? I've been using MailChimp, but I wonder if you have a better one to recommend.
Okay. I personally am not in a position to recommend because I'm not using email marketing right now, but we all kind of use something, right? Like you're saying MailChimp. I started off with Aweber. Now I used Aweber and I was fine with that. Okay. What you would have to do, the way I would look at it is financially, like which one is affordable, features wise, which one gives the most features with that price, and what works for you, trial and error. Like use the free version first, see if it works, if you like it. Is it usability wise, is it friendly? The most popular ones are MailChimp and Aweber. But there are others. I'm not saying there aren't. Last time I looked at it was a few years ago. Okay, like the actual platforms, because when it comes to the email marketing or any other thing, there's always new businesses coming up. And I think it's good to shop around, okay, and look at review sites as well. Okay, so there's some, I'm sure, like if you put in compare email marketing platforms, there will be sites where they've done reviews and of each one, and you can compare. Okay. So
Okay,
that's what I would say. I don't want to give you information that, for no reason, like that doesn't make any sense, because I have not spent time on email marketing recently. Okay. But again, it's finding information is on the internet is so easy nowadays. I mean, also, and you can use TikTok as well as almost like a Google search engine. I mean, if you type in email marketing campaign platforms or whatever, there'll be influencers and people talking about a comparison between different marketing tools, right? And those people are creating content. Maybe they're sponsors of a certain product or not, but they're there to provide information. And if you learn visually, sometimes that's better. I find it easier to learn from an individual on a video who's comparing platforms than me trying to find something on Google with like searches and loads of websites, you know. So short answer is I don't know which one's the best, but I would recommend you doing a bit of research. Okay. And it all depends on what you're looking for, price wise, feature wise. You need to look at it. But one thing that is important to understand is that sometimes emails go straight into the spam folder, and you need to make sure that doesn't happen. So it needs to be a good, solid platform, and one that's been around for a long time, and one that marketers use. But MailChimp is good. But if there's reasons why you want to move away from that, then you can compare it with Aweber or something else.
thank you.
Okay. So carrying on then, let me just quickly move on. Okay. So factors impacting strategies. So you're again, like we just talked about email marketing platforms. One of the impacts could be budget. It could be the target market. Like if your target market doesn't really read emails, doesn't spend time on emails, then why use it? Okay. It could most likely nowadays, I would say if you can grab somebody's phone number, it's better than email, but email does have its own advantages as well. Um, WhatsApp is a good one at the moment as well. But products, the actual product itself can be limiting. Okay, it can have an impact. So if we just read this here, factors that affect digital marketing strategies are key elements to influence how the business plans, chooses, and delivers its marketing activities online. These factors shape what methods will be most effective and which platforms to use and how the campaign should be designed. So the technology, the resource, the time, the product, all of these are important. Okay, so trends is another thing that's obviously important. So trends happen very quickly and they come and go. And this is something that we need to understand as well. But I'm not going to go into that yet because I want to give you guys a break because it has been a bit of time. So I'm going to give you guys a 10-minute break. Okay, so get yourself a cup of coffee or some breath of fresh air or something for 10 minutes, and we'll continue after that. So let's say, okay, so it's 1:37 by my watch. So okay, let's say just a little before 10:50 or sorry 10:50, 1:50. Okay. Take 10 minutes and come back, and then we'll continue from there. Now there is a platform I want to share with you that I think is really good, because we're talking about sales funnels. Um, and we all kind of look for like an all-in-one solution, don't we? Because it can get very expensive when you're using different platforms, different tools, one for email marketing, one for doing this and that. I think personally, from my experience, I'm just talking from my experience, out of all the social media platforms right now, the one that we should take most advantage of is TikTok. Okay. When it first started off a few years back, again during COVID, when it started branding itself as TikTok, I saw the potential, and I I kind of regret not starting content on TikTok. I started, then I stopped, and I started. But people I've seen, and you've probably seen it as well, where those who've been consistent on TikTok have now got millions of followers, right? If those who started back then. But even now, if you start today, I can assure you, if you're consistent, within 6 months, you'll get a good following. Okay, it can happen. And like I said before, you don't have to put your face out there. You can still create content. It can be done. My wife loves cooking. She's a chef. I'm trying to get her into it. I'm trying to say, look, you're in one of those niches that, everybody loves food, right? It doesn't matter what language they speak or where they're from. Just show people, what you're cooking every day. And then you can do, cooking classes that you can sell, right? So you need to find your business idea and know where the people are. You need to go where the people are. Like if we had a high street shop, then why are we in the high street? Is because that's where people are. People walk down the high street. When you're online, you got to go to the best platform where people are at. Facebook, is it still relevant? I think it is. It's just a different demographic. Okay, it's a lot older generation, but you got to think who's got the money. Okay, I think there's people on Facebook who've got money, but also I think the younger generation have a lot of money as well, because they're taking advantage of tech. So TikTok is one platform, and I think Instagram as well as Facebook. But you can also monetize certain platforms like X. You can now monetize. Creating content actually pays you. So it's important to know this. All right. Now I'm going to share a link with you. I don't want you to buy anything. Like, it's my own personal brand that I'm building, but I want you to be aware of it, because I do have my own struggles, like getting on TikTok and creating content. At the moment, my struggle is I need a good camera, because the quality of my videos seems to be poor compared to other people's videos, right? So I need to get a good camera, and I think a good one is about £500. So need to invest in that. But I have a plan, and the plan is basically to focus on emerging tech, focus on digital marketing, blockchain AI, basically what I know. So if you follow me on TikTok, or I don't mind, you can do that. But I'm on my own journey, so you might not see much there now, but in a few months' time you might. But the reason I'm sharing this link is because this is the store that I use as my e-commerce platform, where I'm selling courses. Okay. And you can do the same. You don't have to sell courses, you can sell a product. Okay. And it's called Stand Store. Okay. So I'm going to share that link in the chat. And if you click on it now, where you'll go is basically to Stand Store. Now, the reason I shared it with the referral link is because I want to show you that it does have a referral link. And when you share your referral link and somebody signs up, you will also get paid on a monthly basis. Okay. So it's an income generator as well for you. Okay. So if you even create content around exactly what I'm talking about. If you're a digital marketing content creator, if I did it or you did it, that everything that you learn here, now you're creating content about, there will be other people who are looking for this product, okay, who might even sign up, okay? So it's an income generator for you because it has a referral system. But the reason I'm sharing this is not so I make money off you. The reason I'm sharing this is want to understand there's platforms out there that can actually earn you money when other people actually use your referral link to sign up, okay? But also there's platforms out there that can do everything in one place, okay? So it says meet your all-in-one creator store. And this is the platform that a lot of influencers on TikTok are using to sell their coaching, to sell their ebook, to sell their course, and that kind of stuff. So if you've got knowledge to share, this is what you want to be doing. This is what I've done. I paid $300 for the whole year, so I don't have to worry about monthly expense. And basically, what I'm doing is I'm building courses and putting it into the platform. Then what you do is you put your link into your bio on TikTok or any other social media platform, and you don't hard sell. You don't go in trying to sell your courses. You create content. Okay, so for me, it would be creating content around digital marketing, creating content around sales funnels, creating content around AI, AI tools about blockchain. And then when people trust me, know me, like me, what they're going to do, they're going to want more. And if they click on the bio, they'll go to my store and they may or may not purchase a product, right? So if you now have a large following, then you've got this whole stream of people coming to your content. Out of 10,000 people, 100 people may click on that link. Out of that 100 people, 50 people may purchase. If 50 people purchase, right, and it's a subscription model, then you're going to get paid from 50 people every month, right? So it's a numbers game. So the more people you have, percentage wise, only a small number is going to convert. Okay, but the bigger number you have in the first place, that small percentage could be huge. That 1%, 5% of a large number is huge. Okay, so that's what everybody else is doing out there, and this is what you need to understand. Okay, and Stan Store I found is the all-in-one solution. I've used Podia, I've used Teachable, because I'm an educator. That's what I do, right? So I looked at these platforms as a platform to educate, right, and sell courses. And Stan Store came out as the one that already has an email marketing system in there. Okay, already collects emails, already you can send emails from there. You can basically, it does everything for you, and that is e-commerce. That is e-commerce. You're selling something online. It has the PayPal, Stripe connections in there, everything. Okay, so all you need to do is basically follow the instructions and create your own store, and it's quite simple. Once you've got your own link, you put it into the bio, and basically voila, you've got a store on a social media platform that people could click and buy from you, and then you could do ads and all sorts. So that is your business, and that is what I'm doing and what you can do as well. But you may have other ways, okay? But I found Stan Store to be the best at this moment in time when it comes to having a store online. You can have a Shopify site, you can have others, but it all depends on what kind of products you're selling. If you're selling physical products, you're selling T-shirts, for example, then you want Shopify, okay? So Stan Store may not be perfect for everyone, but it's one that a lot of influencers, social media platform influencers are using right now. And there's reasons for that. Okay. And it does that, or it gives you all the analytics and everything as well on how much money you're making and which content's doing well and all sorts. Your upsells and everything is in there. So it's a good platform to use. Leah, you got your hand up?
Hi.
Hiya.
I don't see the link. Did you post the link?
I posted it in the chat on Zoom.
Yeah.
No,
I
it
mean, I'm
might
seeing
not be to everyone because
I
the
don't
rest of us
see
can't
the
see
link
it.
either.
I have.
Okay.
I'm not seeing it either.
Nobody's seeing it. Maybe I can't. You too.
Just make sure you've sent to everyone. It might be
Yeah,
to one
you're right.
person.
I didn't. I sent it to
Super, got it
Nicola
now.
only.
Thanks, Nicola.
Yeah, I only sent it to Nicola. For some reason, it
Thank
was to Nicola. Let me send it
Thank
to everyone.
you.
That's to everybody. So what I've done is the reason I'm sharing this with you is another thing, because I'm on the same journey as some of you, okay? In it, but with experience of certain things, I want to share that journey. I've branded myself as Neura Blockchain. Why? Because the domain was available, but also because it's available on every single platform, okay? Because you want to take ownership of your brand. So it on TikTok, I got at Neuroblockchain. On X, I've got at Neuroblockchain. On every platform, I've got that, right? And Neuro stands for like neurons or AI, and then blockchain is obviously blockchain technology. So I'm talking about tech. So that's my brand, and I've registered neuroblockchain.com, and then what I've done is neuroblockchain.com is redirected to this store. So if I say to somebody, I'll go to my store, or if I put the link into the bio, all I have to do is put neuroblockchain.com in the bio, and that's redirected to the store on Stan. So it's not a complicated domain.
I'm
Okay.
sorry. Can you repeat what the Stan store is for?
Stan Store is like a shop online. It's your shop, it's your store. So you can sell courses, you can sell one-to-one coaching, you can basically sell products, digital products.
Is
Okay.
that besides our website that we're building on this course?
Yeah, it's different. Okay. So the reason I'm sharing this with you is because it's e-commerce. To give an example of e-commerce, because I'm selling a product, okay, and it's connected to TikTok, which is social media. So social media connected to e-commerce. So this is a perfect example of what you're learning about. You're learning about social media, plus you're learning about e-commerce. Okay. Now, your e-commerce could be a Shopify site, and in that case, that would be your website. Okay. Your social media could be TikTok, it could be Facebook. Okay. So any project you're doing a part of this course is for this course, right? But as a business person, as somebody who's trying to make a living online, you need to know all this stuff, because you're not going to use the same website you're doing for the course for your real business out there. So that's what I'm doing. I'm sharing what I'm doing, because I got where I'm spending money is after doing a lot of research. I'm spending money on Stan Store because that is the all-in-one solution that I found, where I can just pay $300 and not worry about it. Okay, so you need to find your own. This is my solution. I'm not saying you go for Stan Store. First, you need to think about, do you actually have a product to sell? If you don't, then there's no point you getting a store right now. You could be at a phase where you're just trying to get out there, trying to create an influence, trying to build a community, or you may have a physical product that you're trying to sell. In that case, Shopify would be perfect for you. Okay. So you need to find your own, and there's a lot of you here, so I can't consult here every single person, but hopefully some, you know, some of you kind of getting ideas, from where your journey is. Okay, so I'm going to have to continue with the presentation because we've got a few slides left, and then I'll come to any questions. But Sylvia, do you want to ask your question because you've got a hand up?
Yes, sure. Thank you. So my question was regarding, it's kind of like regarding branding, because what you mentioned that you're branding yourself as Neuro
Blockchain. Yeah.
So the content you are producing, is it like personal? So it's kind of like merging the personal branding with like the company as such. I don't actually have a specific question, but it's just
You just want to know
kind
more,
of like
right?
how, because I would like to do something similar, but where I'm struggling is, do I brand myself as a person or do I brand myself as a brand?
That's a very good question.
And kind of where to find the
middle ground.
The middle ground in that, yes.
Yeah, I understand, and that's a very good question. Okay, so you can brand yourself or you can brand a company. I'll give you the advantage of branding yourself. If you brand yourself, you may suddenly decide you want to talk about rabbits. You might suddenly decide you want to talk about perfumes. You might suddenly decide you want to sell a pen. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You brand it yourself. So you can move around. You've got more flexibility. If you're branding a company, you're stuck with that product or you're that kind of that market, that niche. Does that make sense? So the advantage of branding yourself is much better than branding a company or something, right? However, at the same time, if you don't have that charisma, if you don't have the looks, doesn't really matter, to be honest. If you don't have the looks, people want information, they want content, right? They want knowledge, they want to be helped. If you can't do that, then you may struggle with branding yourself. The easiest way to see it from my experience when it comes to branding yourself is forget the negativity. Okay, there'll always be comments of people saying negative stuff about you. That is not your audience. That's not who you're serving. The people who appreciate you, that is your tribe, and that will form over time. Okay, you will gather that tribe. If you're branding yourself, the biggest obstacle for people is when somebody says something negative, they start worrying about their looks, or they will start worrying about how they talk, or something else, right? That puts them in a negative mindset. It's about understanding that your tribe will follow you. People who are negative, trolls and stuff, ignore them. Branding yourself works, okay? I've branded myself over the years and it worked. However, when you brand yourself, it's exhausting as well, right? You can have burnout because your focus is on you, and it's also about how much how much. Okay, so I've got a comment here. I'm just reading. Are we getting a bit off track here? I feel slightly like I've gone into a marketing pyramid scheme meeting. No, we're not in a pyramid scheme meeting. But it's an interesting comment. No, we're not, because it is very, very relevant to what we're learning about. We're learning about sales funnels. And your comment about a pyramid scheme, you can actually think of a pyramid scheme as a sales funnel. And you will see that in a second. I'll show you. I'm going to show you in a few slides as I go along. You will see this. Wait, 1 second. A sales funnel. And what does it look like? It looks like a pyramid, but upside down, doesn't it? Okay, so there is a relevance, and I see what you're saying. Okay, we're not off track. We're basically talking about sales funnels, and it does seem like we're trying to basically well, pyramid schemes work like sales funnels, but they don't have a product. Okay, if you're trying to sell thin air, then it's a pyramid scheme. Okay, you're just trying to sell hope. Okay, so we're not trying to sell hope, we're trying to educate, and it's not a pyramid scheme, so don't worry. Okay, but thank you, Debbie. I appreciate your comment. I'll take one more for Francesca.
Sorry, I just put it down. I thought, oh, I can ask later. It was just
Yeah.
on that. It's a bit of a random one, really.
Yeah, sure.
First off, with the mailing list thing, are you better off to have like a business email and then a separate email for all your email chain marketing, kind of from a management of that sort of thing point of view? And then
Yeah.
I suppose another thing that keeps coming to mind is like, because I kind of want to do stuff with the illustration work I've been doing for years, but I've not had the time to post regularly. Do you find with social media they tend to promote newer accounts so long as they're posting regularly, or does it not matter how old the account is, essentially?
I think with YouTube, it doesn't matter. It's like evergreen. Like you create content there, you'll get, rewarded years and years. With new platforms like new accounts, for example, you need to prove yourself. In the sense that you need to create content until the algorithms catch up with you and actually see, okay, this content creator is creating value. Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but these algorithms are very smart. Okay. The way they work now is literally, if you're creating rubbish content, it's not going to put it forward to anybody's For You page. If you're creating value, it will. So it doesn't matter if it's a new account. It'll still forward it'll be if as long as you're giving value, it doesn't matter how old or new your account is. That's
so it
the
doesn't
answer
matter if I had like an account for 2 years and I'm like, I'll get around to posting on it eventually, and then suddenly it's not
that's
like,
fine.
well, this has been around for ages.
No, that's
I'm
fine.
not going
You
to
can
promote
start
that.
using it. You can start using it. Yeah. What was your
Okay.
other question for first question? I forgot.
About
Sorry.
the email mail list, whether
Yeah.
it's better to have an email separate from your business email for that kind of marketing, or if it
Yeah.
doesn't matter
So
so much. Yeah.
professional branding, ideally you want to have a professional email. So, and it helps with the preventing it from going to the spam folder.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So sometimes if you use Gmail, for example, it's going to hit the spam every time.
Mm.
Okay, so you need to kind of go through settings and change things if you do that. So ideally, like it would be like, for example, neuroblockchain.com at the end of the email. This is a professional email.
I
Um,
see.
yeah. Um, yeah, value, it depends on the niche, like whatever people are seeing value, the likes, the follows, the shares, that also shows whether it's valuable. Yeah, from engagement. Exactly, Claudia. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to the slide. Okay, so I've kind of skipped to get to this slide. So let me just get where we were again. Just bear with me a second. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so where were we? We were back here somewhere. Track.
The last one was trends
Yeah,
impacting
trend
digital
impacting.
marketing.
Yeah. So trends are changing behaviors, technology or society that influence how people use digital platforms. Okay. So over the years, we've had different trends. They affect how business communicate, advertise, engage with their audiences. And it's important to stay aware of these trends to ensure you're doing the right marketing strategy. Social factors, technology development, for example, AI, number of users, demand for information, and use of mobile technologies, devices, and applications. So we get loads of trends like immigration is actually a trend at the moment in the UK, right? So a lot of people are creating content around immigration, about migrants and stuff like that. A lot of them don't even care about the situation, but they're creating content just to get views, right? Just to make money. So that's a trend. When it dies out, there'll be another trend. AI is a trend, so it's a technology trend. It's all about following the trends. Whether you believe it or not is a different matter for some people, but then it comes to your ethics and morals. Okay, what is it that you actually stand for? What are your values? Because it's easy to, like somebody said about, like what was the pyramid scheme? Yeah, so it's about ethics and morals and values, right? So if you have the right ethics, morals, you're not going to sell thin air. You're going to use a sales funnel to sell a physical or a digital product that's going to help people. So social factors refer to how society, culture, and behavior influences digital marketing. This can include lifestyle changes, interests and values, and communicate habits. TikTok trends show how quickly audience interest shifts. Businesses must match the tone and style of the modern online culture to stay relevant. So even if you're like a serious business, your marketing team may create content that is more kind of entertaining because that is the trend, and you need to tap into that. So if you can't create entertaining content, find somebody who can. Okay, because that's the trend. That is what people look for. They don't want to go on TikTok and learn like email marketing like a full course, but they might want some tips. Okay, something that they can just browse and move on from. So technology is important, it evolves, and it's a big part of like automation, personalized emails, chatbots, example. You can use them to automate, customer service, number of users, online population continues
Sorry,
to
Bilal,
grow.
could you just go
It's,
back to the previous slide, please?
yep. Was it this one?
It was the one after social factors. Yes, that's it.
Yep. Yep. No worries. Do you want to talk about it, or do you want to? Are you writing something down?
I was just writing something down.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
Okay. Okay. So I'll let you write that down. Meanwhile,
I'm
I'll
all
just.
done. Thanks.
You're done, yep. Okay. So let's go forward. Number of users. Okay. So obviously, we've got billions of users now on social media across all the platforms. And, this is something that we need to be aware of, but also the changing demographics online. Okay. Um, but it's important to understand that more digital customers mean more demand for online services and to demand for information. Okay, so even though you might think there's so much information out there, it is like, why should I even bother, right? Some of us might think negative like that. Remember, it's about how you put that information out, your own personality or your creativeness of putting the same information out. If somebody else is creating information that is on the same topic, it doesn't mean you can't. Okay, modern customers expect instant access to accurate and useful information. Businesses must provide content that answer questions quickly. Users will spend more time researching content before they buy online. This links directly to SEO and content marketing. Um, Customers expect transparency, honesty. So this is about you providing valid, relevant content because there's so much content out there. They could easily get it from somebody else. Why should they come to you? The only reason they would come to you is if your content is reliable, if your content is basically what they're looking for, right? Before we used to go to Google and type stuff, people are now typing it into TikTok search, right? They're typing it into Facebook and going into groups and joining pages and things like that. Instagram as well. You know, they're going through slides and gain information on images. They're saving those images on their phone, right? So if they're saving images on their phone, wouldn't it be smart to put your web address on that image so that your web address is also on their phone now? Okay, so you need to think about where the information is and how the demand is there and why it's there. And SEO, how SEO is done. Search engine optimization used to be about putting keywords on a website. Now it's about putting keywords on a content. Okay, putting the title in or the text on a video, the hashtags and honesty and transparency is very important because, like somebody again, I'm going to refer back to your pyramid scheme because there's so many scams out there, right? People are fed up of losing money left, right, and center. That if you're trying to sell something, they need to know it's genuine. They need to see transparency and honesty, and that comes from that personal connection that I was talking about. If you can put yourself out there and be honest and give people a little bit of your life and a bit of kind of insight into who you are as a person, and you build that reputation, then that honesty and transparency is going to pay off. Use of mobile technologies and devices and applications. Okay, so people are increasingly using mobiles, tablets, and apps. I think everybody knows this, instead of desktop computers. So if your website is only desktop compatible, and when you look at it on a mobile, it's all funny. It's good. Everything's just mishmash everywhere. It's not going to work. Okay, you need most templates on websites and most applications are now mobile compatible. But if you're kind of using a platform that's out of date, then on mobile it might not look good. So you need to check that is suitable for mobile devices, tablets. Make sure that your information is out there on the right platforms. Okay, so it's essential that your website works well on mobile devices as well as desktop devices. So if you're creating an application as a product, you need to do that. You need to make sure that it's compatible with mobiles. Creating an app is going to be very expensive, but going for a mobile compatible platform is better. So even if you like going for Standstore or going for Podia or you're going for some other platform that you're signing up to for email marketing or selling your product, check on your mobile what it looks like. As long as if it's a very um, recent application, it should be fine. Digital marketing is influenced by the devices people use with apps, allowing personalized, fast communication with users. Okay, so what are marketing objectives? Is the objective of you doing marketing is that you make sales, that you increase your brand awareness, that people know what your brand is. Like if you see if you go down on a motorway and suddenly you got children in the back seat, right? And they suddenly see the golden arches of McDonald's, they get hungry. They want you to stop at the next roundabout, right? That's why they got it up there so everybody can see it from far as you're approaching 100 meters, 200 meters away. You can still see the golden arches is high up, right? That's marketing for you, the brand awareness for you. they'll position it on at the roundabouts where you're gonna kind of slow down. You might want to take a break. Okay. So positioning of your brand is important. Brand awareness is important. That's physical example, right? When you talk about digital example, look at this slide. At the top right corner, you can see Think Employment, the logo. It didn't have to be there, but the fact that it's there subconsciously, you know the brand. When you see those colors, you're relating it to Think Employment. When you see that bumblebee, you're relating it to, I think it's a bumblebee. You're relating it to Think Employment. Brand awareness is important. Market entry, important. Where you're coming in, what market you're getting into. Product differentiation is also important. Understanding that your product is unique. How is it unique? Attracting new customers is important. Okay, these are all objectives that you will have with your marketing. Because if you get the same customers, they already subscribed. You need more customers. You need fresh
Peter,
customers. Go on. Sorry, somebody said something.
sorry.
Okay, that's fine. Attract new customers and then encourage digital engagement, and that is very, very important. I think a lot of people who struggle online with marketing don't build relationships with their audience because they think they're just selling. There isn't any empathy or communication like human communication, and that is very, very important. So if you're creating content, going into the comments is important. If you've got a business, brick and mortar, it's important to basically do the same. Go into TripAdvisor, respond to reviews, ask for feedback. That is important. How do marketing objectives help? Well, it gives you clear directions. Okay, improves your planning and decisions, performance and measurements, aligns team and activities, increases efficiency and motivates and gives a sense of achievement. Okay, when you achieve it, when you see those views, when you see people connecting and sending sending positive reviews on feedback on TripAdvisor, or commenting in your post that amazing content, it's going to give you motivation, a sense of achievement. So it helps you to move forward. Okay. It also kind of validates that whatever you're creating is working. Okay. And you can measure that against other content that you've created. Now, finally, we come to the sales funnel. Okay. So the sales funnel is a model that shows the different stages of a customer. Different stages that a customer goes through from first discovering your business to finally making a purchase. Okay. So when a customer first finds out about your business, they're not going to buy straight away. Maybe they will if it's word of mouth and they'll come and just based it on that. But generally they won't buy straight away. Okay, they'll just be aware of it. Okay, they might have to see your store, online store, a few times before they even think about any getting interested in watching your content. They may scroll past your video, if it's a video, right? They may scroll past it first few times until they watch one. So not all your videos are going to get watched. If you're doing a podcast, they may not listen to you for the first time round. They may listen to you third time round, fourth time round. Okay, so the first position is awareness, making people aware. So you're going to have to create content, whether it's audio, video, text, you're blogging, or you're creating posts on Facebook, or you're doing posts on Instagram. You're going to have to do that for a long time until you're starting to gather momentum. Okay. So the purpose of a sales funnel is to help businesses understand this customer behavior, plan effectively, plan effective marketing activities, and guide people from becoming to become customers to actually buy. So each stage in the funnel requires a different type of marketing content, messages, and strategies. So that's important to understand because every single part of your sales funnel is important. If you're not sure where they are in your sales funnel, you're not going to be able to provide the right information. So the first part of the sales funnel is awareness. This is the stage where potential customers first learn about the business. Okay, customers become aware of the brand through social media, advertising, blog posts, and such. And at this point, the factors affecting conversion at this stage, is quality of targeting. If the wrong audience is reached, then the overall conversions are low. Like if somebody watches your content for the first time, but they're not even interested in that subject, they're going to scroll past. Okay. Strength of the message. If it's clear, engaging content, it's going to let, because the attention span is tiny now. It's like a few seconds, right? Before they're going to scroll past. Okay, you're going to have to grab the attention in that small, short time. If you can't grab it at the beginning, they're going to go past it. And that's why what you'll see in a lot of videos, the climax is at the beginning of the video. Have you seen those videos where they've edited it so the climax is at the beginning, then they tell the story, and then they reach the same climax at the end? So you see a repeat of the same content that you saw at the beginning towards the end, but they grab the attention at the beginning. Why? Because your attention span is so short now because of all the scrolling nature, that you're going to scroll past if you don't grab. Okay, so that brand visibility, the strength of message is important. That shock factor that you can give people at the beginning to keep them watching for the rest of it. Okay, because you get rewarded for watching. The more they stay on your content, the more likely your content's going to be forwarded to other people as well. Creative quality, strong visuals, and headlines help people to stop and notice. Okay, so customer experience at this stage is about discovering your brand for the first time. They may be curious but not emotionally or logically invested. Experience should feel welcoming, simple, and helpful. Okay, the data that you generate is the impressions, the reach, the website visits, social media views. This is the basically the stuff that you can get on the from the algorithms. And what you can do with it is identify the top performing platforms, improve targeting settings, adjust your messages, and build custom audiences for retargeting. So that awareness will allow you to create the right content, basically. So now the next stage, now the customer's interested, right? So now these customers, it could be the same customer that you had before, is now interested because they've seen your content a few times. They understand what your business starts to offer, and they start researching about it, ask questions in the comments. They compare options, right? So this is the time when it's information must be helpful and valuable. So now you've got their interest, you need to give them more. Your website navigation will probably have like other options in there. Your loading speed is important. Okay, it needs to be ease of access. It needs to be clear, because now they're interested. You're trying to convert these people into customers, right? So if they're interested and they're looking for something on your website, they need to be able to find it. If it's not visible on the menu or not obvious where to find it, how are they going to find it? Like if your product's hidden somewhere, then they're not going to find it. Okay, consistency in communication. Okay, regular post emails and maintain attention. So if they're interested, they want to see more of what they're interested about. So customers want to learn more. They want to build a first impression of trust, reliability, and value. I'm interested, but I don't know you. I want to know you now to make my decision, right? Subconsciously, they're becoming your customer. So again, you're getting information from this because people are spending more time on your content now. A person who scrolled past it last time is stopping and waiting and watching. So the amount of time people are spending on your videos, you can see that in on your dashboard when you look at the stats, the pages viewed, the emails, sign-ups. If we're talking about pages viewed, it's your website. Which pages are they viewing? That kind of information. Google Analytics, for example, you're using these tools to see the people that are interested. How are they interested? What are they interested in? How much time are they spending? How many emails am I getting signed up? Like, is this ebook actually bringing in emails? Social engagement, likes, follows, bounce rate as well. How many people are actually moving on? So all of this information can then be used to create more engaging content, improve your weak pages, stuff that is irrelevant you can take out, menus that hit kind of didn't put your product out there, you can move around and position your button where they can actually see it. You might change the color of your button on your website. These are things that you can do. And then you retarget interested users with personalized ads. Now you know that these people are interested. You can basically retarget them. For example, if they downloaded your ebook, you know they're interested. Now you're going to target them with an email, sending them, thanking them, giving them the ebook, but then following up with tips. Now, because you know that's what they're looking for, you know they're interested. The third one is desire and consideration. So customers then move beyond that. So another way of thinking of it is like a brick and mortar. Somebody that walks past your shop every single day doesn't buy anything. Okay, you're creating awareness because you're there with your business. The shop front is there, everything's there. One day they walk in, they're interested. They walked in, right? So that was that phase. Now it's the desire and consideration. So sometimes if you can't visualize it in a digital world, it's good to kind of look at it in the real world, in the physical world, and compare. Then you can understand the phases. It's the same phases. So desire and consideration. Customers move beyond the interest stage. So they've walked into your store now, okay, or they've visited your website. They know what they want. They now want the product or service. Marketing aims to create emotional attachment, a strong emotional connection, a practical desire to show. So have you seen those TikTok videos where they're kind of showing how the massage machine is like really helping them and removes their pain, or they're basically creating an emotional connection with you that you might be in pain. Ah, it sorted my backache out. You can do the same for you, right? It's that emotional connection. They understand the pain points. So you have to understand your customers' pain points. It's a very important thing to understand pain points. Wherever you're selling, it's going to help somebody to solve their problem. What is their pain points? If you don't understand the pain points, you can't create that strong emotional connection. Okay, so content might include case studies, reviews, how other people fix their problem, demonstrations, or emails. The brand focuses on providing value and showing why it is the right choice. Okay, this is now, if you think about the physical world, somebody walks in, smells the beautiful aroma of the food and wants to experience it. Okay, the desire is there. You create the emotional connection through their senses. Yeah, so it doesn't smell nice and it's a restaurant, something's wrong. Okay, so quality of the product information, clear benefits, features, comparison. This is what you need to do. Social proofs, basically reviews, testimonials. They're going to look for proof. They're going to look, what are other people saying? Have you ever been on Amazon, checked out a product, then went down into the reviews before you bought it? Yeah, this is the stage you were at. Okay, you want the product, you know you're here to buy the product, but you're not going to make a decision until you're sure that this is for you. Okay, so this is the desire and you're considering it. Then you take your money out, right? Now you're ready. All right, so your customer is now thinking of purchasing. At this point in the funnel, the customer takes action. Okay, usually making a purchase, booking an appointment, or signing up. Marketing becomes more persuasive. Now you're really kind of pushing, okay, as a marketer. This is where they could either click and purchase, or they may put their credit card back again, or debit card, right? Do you want them to click that button? So what color is that button going to be? It's going to be something trusting, something nice like green. Okay, color has a language. Okay, every color has a language. There's a reason why blue is used by the NHS and the police, because it means trust. It gives you that trust feeling. Blue. Red, you'll see it used by McDonald's, KFC. Why? Because it's heat, food, warmth, right? In marketing, color has a reason for being there. It's not just used anyhow. So even when your button is there to click, you may see a green button like go, click on me, right? So you got to think about these things. This is where you're becoming persuasive with your design, with the colors that you're using, the language that you're using, right? There could be another video that you create at the sales point where they're going to purchase, where you're giving them a special offer. It could be a countdown that you've put there, where it's counting down as if you're creating some kind of sense of urgency. Okay, because if I don't buy now, I'm going to lose out. I'm going to lose the discount. Okay, these are all marketing techniques, and this is to make the customer buy. So checkout experience should be simple. It should be speedy, minimal steps. Okay, multiple payment methods should be there. Okay, nowadays it's a lot easier. We can just sign up to Stripe. We can sign up to PayPal. We've got applications that do all this for us, where it's simple, right? But if you're not using PayPal, Stripe, and you're using something else, it might not be suitable. Okay, so you need to think about this. Also, price offers, discounts, guarantees, free trials, all of this basically helps. All of this helps. So if a person is going to buy, they're going to buy more likely to they're going to buy if you're offering them a discount. Okay, it might not even be a real discount. You could just actually visually just put $100, slash it, and put $59. Okay, is it ethically correct? Well, marketing is marketing. Okay, you're showing that you reduced it in price. Okay, a lot of companies out there, even in the high street, you'll see them. They put the price up first, then they put it down. It's not right ethically. There's trading standards and all of this. But if you have got a discount, a real genuine discount, remember I talked about trust and transparency. It's important. If there's a real discount, you put the price down, even $20 at the cash checkout. Is going to help you to convert. Okay, so here the conversion rate is important. You can also see the cart abandonment rate, how many people have gone to the cart and not purchased. Okay, you can see all this in the Google Analytics page, or if you're using a platform like TikTok, you'll see information on your dashboard. This is important information, because if everybody's abandoning at the cart, why are they abandoning when they've got to this point? What is it that's not letting them click that button and purchase? There must be something, right? So you need to understand that, because you want that conversion to happen. And then it's about the last stage is about loyalty, making them come back again. So after buying, okay, the goal is to keep the customers engaged and loyal, so they return and recommend your brand. You don't want them to, like, I purchased something off TikTok the other day, like an eye massager. Okay, supposed to massage my eyes. I get migraines sometimes, so I bought this. £20 I bought it. Hardly feel anything. Like when I put it on, it's like just like doing this. I could do that myself, right? But it's got Bluetooth and it puts music through. But the way it was advertised, it was like the best thing ever, right? But was it? No. But marketing worked. I bought it, right? So would I buy again from the same person? No. Yeah. So that influencer, whoever kind of sold it to me by making me buy, well, it wasn't true. That's why loyalty comes from transparency and being honest. Okay. If you want people to come back to you, yeah, you're not going to make as many sales as you would have if you lied to them, or kind of acted and pretended that your product is the best thing in the world. But if you're honest about your product, it's more likely you're going to get more sales. Okay. It's a way of working. Okay, so other factors impacting sales funnel is customer life cycle, quality of marketing, and quantity of marketing. So let's talk about customer life cycle. Customer life cycle describes the ongoing journey a customer takes with a brand, from discovering it to buying it and to becoming a returning loyal customer. So different stages require different marketing approaches, and understanding behavior improves conversions. Okay, long-term relationships increase value. Life cycle marketing personalizes the journey. Okay, so basically, what it means here is that you need to understand the customer. Okay, you need to understand what customers think and feel at each stage, and it helps business remove any barriers. Like if a customer's learning about your business, wanting to buy from your business, that whole process needs to be smooth. Okay, any barriers, like if you're putting up, if if your product is too pricey for your target audience, that's an issue. If your product is low quality, that's an issue. If your sales funnel at the end is too complicated, if you don't accept credit cards, for example, then it's an issue. If we're getting into a world where it's all digital currencies and you don't accept crypto, it may be an issue in the future. So that is the kind of thing that we've got to think about when we're thinking about the customer life cycle and who is our customers, from start to finish. And a good way of understanding that is by getting feedback from your customers. Maybe you can reward them for giving you some feedback. Quality of marketing. Quality of marketing refers to how effective, relevant, and clear and engaging the marketing content is. So high quality content builds trust. If you've got high quality content, obviously people are going to think, okay, this guy seems professional. Okay. Clear, accurate, and useful content helps customers understand value, increasing desire and confidence. Poor quality content confuses the customers, because if your video is poor quality, or you're not dressed professionally, or you're making a video like in your pajamas, right? It may give out the message that you're not even serious. But then again, it might give out the message that you're authentic. So you need to think about how you're creating the content. So we've got an example here, Netflix sales funnel. So Netflix has a sales funnel, okay? Awareness. Their awareness is through social media ads, content previews, SEO, and word of mouth, right? So that's how they get the awareness. The interest comes through free trials. So you can sign up for Netflix, watch it without paying anything until they start charging you. That's their interest. Email campaigns, they do personalized suggestions. That is like using AI. So whatever you see will be like things that you're interested in. You probably get hooked onto a series and then subscribe, desire high quality content, competitive pricing, and they do the competitive pricing by being able to offer a low price with HD but ads. Okay. Or without ads you pay a little bit more. But what they've now done is they've given different price range for different people, and they're able to lower the price as well. Easy sign up process, multiple payment options, and instant streaming. Okay. So these are a part of that sales funnel for Netflix: awareness, interest, desire, action. So they've looked at their sales funnel and they've provided solutions for their sales funnel. So you have to do the same with yours. You got to think about what you're trying to sell, how you're going to get the awareness, how you're going to grab their attention, keep that interest, how you're going to build up the emotional connection, and how you're going to get them to make that action or take that action. Okay, so examples of sales funnels in practice. Again, it's very similar to the Netflix one, where awareness, you've got social ads, travel content, referral influencers. This is the kind of stuff you see on TikTok. Interest, user-friendly app. Okay, free host tools, personalization, recommendation, desire, transparent pricing, reviews and photos, flexible booking, easy booking, hosting incentives, and 24 hours. So what you're seeing here is basically stuff that you see all the time. If you go on booking.com, for example, they'll use travel content, okay, for awareness. For interest, they got a user-friendly website. They've got personalized recommendations. For desire, they got basically they got photos, reviews, flexible booking, and for action, easy booking system. Okay, so all of this is basically relevant. Just bear with me a second. Sorry, just one second. Okay, so the next example, Uber. Again, sales funnel, same thing: awareness, interest, desire, action. But what they do is they use targeting ads, content marketing, referral program, which is something that Netflix didn't have. Interest, you've got user friendly app, driver outreach, promotional offers. Desire, we've got transparent pricing, flexible plans for drivers, and social proof. And for action, to actually get people to use it, they've got streamlined sign up, onboarding support, and immediate benefits. Okay. So the sales funnel is always awareness, interest, desire, action. How you do your sales or how you achieve these stages could be different. Okay. So I want you to think about your own business, whatever business that you have at the moment, and think about how you're going to get awareness, how you're going to get interest, desire, and action. Okay, so type into the chat on Zoom about awareness. How would you get awareness for your business? Okay, so type that in and then do the same for interest. How would you grab the interest? The desire, how would you get people to get emotionally charged? And how would you get them to take action? What tools are you going to use? So I gave you multiple examples: Uber, Netflix. We also looked at the sales funnel in detail. So let's see what if anybody writes anything, then obviously we can learn from that as well, from each other. So spend a few minutes on that. Okay, so if you're writing something, just put down which stage you're talking about as well, because otherwise it's not going to make sense. So you could put awareness and then slash and then put be present on social media. So just spend a few minutes on this. Okay, so Jess is saying awareness, social media, posting in local Facebook groups. If I'm a physical store, yep. Awareness, people making people aware of your existence on social media, photos, videos, yep. Newsletters. Yeah, social media is a big thing, obviously, when it comes to awareness. Can't avoid it. Awareness is an easy one. What about interest? Interest, lead magnet, email marketing journey. Okay, very good. Lead magnet is a very good one because it's like you're basically giving something for free, okay, and you're getting them into your email marketing journey. That's very good. So Debbie's got social media marketing for awareness, create a highlight a why, yeah, your purpose. Desire, show them the result. Yep. Proof of earnings, proof of results, and action is follow, visit blog, download guides. Yep. Or purchase a product, obviously. But yeah, very good, Debbie. Interest, desire for me, I'd go with nostalgia bait. Yeah, that's a good one. Kind of route because that relates to my business type. Just what is your business, if you don't mind me asking? If you can share. Interest. Okay. Okay, we've got a really a good variety. Okay, movie rentals. Okay, cool. It's not a real one. Yeah, but it's a vision, isn't it? It's something that you want to do, but it's really good, really good. It's like bring back the old blockbusters. Yeah, some really good stuff coming up. So read it and understand it, okay? Because it's us helping each other understand the sales funnel. Okay, brilliant. Well done. Well done. Very good. Okay, so let me go back to the slide. Right, so customer personas. Okay, we've got 15 minutes. So customer personas. Who understand what a customer persona is? Leah, you still got your hand up from probably from before, though.
Profile your potential clients.
Mm-hmm.
Their pain points are the most important thing. You solve a problem for them. That's why
Yep.
you're in the business.
Mm-hmm.
You need to understand what they think, what they see, what they hear.
Yeah.
They want everything about them.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. Persona is really to understand your customer. Okay, understand who your customer is. Because if we don't understand our customer, we can't understand how we're going to actually sell to them, how we're going to get them to, and it sounds bad, but how we're going to get them to spend their money, right? Well, at the end of it shouldn't be bad because they're looking for something, right? They may not know it, but we do. We just have to make them realize, okay? Now, customer persona, building a customer persona means creating a detailed profile of your ideal customer. How I like to see it is in building an avatar. Okay. So what I do is I use Bob or Alice, right? Okay. So a good way of thinking of it is like you're serving Bob. or you're serving Alice. This is who Bob is. This is who Alice is, and I'm only talking to Bob. So whenever you're creating content, you're not thinking about, oh, I'm talking to like all these random strangers and there's hundreds of people watching. You're not even thinking about that, because sometimes we get a bit challenged with that. Like, how can I put myself on camera, and how can I create content, and there's people going to judge me. Don't think about, like I said before, they're not your tribe. Don't think about them. Think about Bob, right? Think about Alice. Think about the persona, the person that you're trying to help, trying to solve the problem for. Selling comes afterwards. First, you need to grab their attention. First, you need to help them build the trust. And Bob is waiting for you. And every single Bob out there on the planet will also become your customer once you understand Bob, right? So your personal customer, or your customer persona is Bob or Alice. Okay, that's how you got to see it. So give it a name. Give your customer a name. If you don't like Bob or Alice, you can call them something else. But it's that individual, that you imaginary individual, yes, but everything else fits around it. So the persona includes information such as who they are, what they need, what problem they face, how they behave online. Personas help businesses create more targeted, effective marketing and understand exactly who they are trying to reach. Okay. Segmentation is important. So your audience, okay, you'll have lots of people consuming your content. You have to divide them into audiences, like smaller specific groups. Okay, there's a reason for that, because you one size fits all doesn't always work. Okay, so segmentation helps businesses understand different types of customers so they can create targeted relevant marketing messages instead of a one size fits all approach. So the main ways to do that is demographics. Okay, where are they? Where do they live? What do they earn? What kind of jobs do they do? That kind of thing. What age group are they in? What ethnicity they in? What languages do they speak? What kind of food do they eat? All of that, right? Okay. Then psychographic as well. How do they behave? Okay. How do they think? Behaviors online, offline. All of this you need to understand. Okay. So think about that. Okay. Because not every business has one specific type of customer. You may have a number of types of customers, and understanding who you're serving will allow you to create content for those people. So age, gender, income level, education, occupation, family size, marital status, all of these are a part of demographics, understanding your audience. And you can, like I said, you can do this through a Facebook ad. If you run a Facebook ad without paying for it, you can still get the information. So if you just go through the process of a Facebook ad, it will give you information that is valuable. Okay. And you didn't even pay for the ad. Okay. You'll literally give you the stats of how many people are searching for this specific word, how many people are searching for football on a Saturday night, or this and that. It will just give you that information. And then what is their age, what is their gender, their income level of those people who were searching for that term. Okay, so it's interesting how you can get demographics from these platforms. Geography is important as well. Okay, and it's important because you if you're selling to people in a specific location, if it's a different country, maybe it's beneficial to actually relate to that country, speak that language, or have some cultural sensitivities, right? Be aware of that. Okay, because your content may, if you're serving a specific culture, then there may be stuff that you need to be aware of in your content. And also you need to think about the spending power of those people as well, because there's no point trying to promote to people in a certain location where your product is just too expensive to afford, right? Psychographic segmentation, and this method is used for customer segmentation when it comes to personality traits, attitudes, interests and values, and other lifestyle factors. So it could be hobbies, beliefs and values, lifestyle choices, personality traits, attitudes and opinions. So a lot of travel bloggers and like lifestyle, like showing wealth and like fancy hotels and locations, and like luxury cars. They're basically trying to get to a certain psychographic segmentation, a certain type of people who desire that kind of lifestyle, who believe in that kind of um, dream. So are you trying to sell to those people? Are you trying to get into their emotions through that? Or it could be certain beliefs or values they hold. Okay, like at the immigration issue, the migrant issue. A lot of, I know a lot of social media um, influencers were paid to create content around that because it was big business. Okay, so it's like they're tapping into certain people's beliefs and values just to get clicks. It's not ethical, maybe, but that's what's happening. Okay, they're doing psychographic segmentation on people. Okay, they're tapping into what they believe in and their values, lifestyle choices, personality traits as well. Okay, different personalities you can also target. So this is, if you understand psychology, it would help you in marketing, for example. Okay, so behavioral segmentation, it's about buying habits. When do people buy? Because they get dopamine. Is it a certain time of year they buy? When people get paid, right? End of the month, people buy. Okay, so this is a behavior. Okay, and then website behavior. Where do they click? Okay, what kind of devices do they use? Engagement level as well. Where are they spending time? Are they in the comments? Are they in your live videos? Are they listening to you on your podcast? Are they visiting your website? Brand loyalty. Okay, how loyal are they um, to your brand? Okay, all of this is important. Previous purchases they've made. Do you reward them for purchasing again? Okay, so all of this is important. How to get started? If you don't know, if you don't have customers yet, okay, some of us may not have customers. Okay, we need to identify, you know, basically what the product is and who we're basically selling to. So who will benefit the most from what I sell? Who has the problem I'm trying to solve? And who is likely to pay? Like you could be selling something to someone, but they're not the person who's going to purchase. Okay. It could be that an adult is purchasing, but you're selling it to a younger person. Okay. So think about that. Okay. Who has the purchasing power? Okay. So if you don't have customers, you have to start by identifying who your product or service is designed for, and then understand or ask yourself these three questions. Who will it benefit? Okay. Who has the problem I'm solving, and who is likely to pay? Okay. If you sell handmade dog accessories, dog owners aged 20 to 50, okay, who shop online, that could be your target audience. But you need to understand that. And a good way of looking at it is by looking at other people who are selling similar products to you, and then going into their comments and analyzing their audience, okay, to understand who their audience is. You can click on the names of those individuals and see their profile and their demographics. Okay, that's another thing that you can do. So this is the next slide. Okay, competitors. Competitors provide valuable clues when you're new. Okay, so who are they targeting? What tone of voice do they use? Who comments, likes, or follows them on social media? What type of products are most popular on their platform? There's nothing wrong with that. It's not cheating. Okay, it's out there, public. Make use of it. Competitors have already done the hard work. Use their audience as an inspiration. Okay. So even small businesses can gather data online. You can use Google Trends, you can use social media analytics. Like once you've got like a few posts, you'll see that you gain analytics on your platform, Facebook audience insights, Instagram insights. So I want you all to kind of, after this session at some point, go to these platforms and see if you can find the analytics side of things. It's there. If it's not obvious, type Google Analytics or Facebook audience straight into Google and it'll take you there. Instagram Insights. But most of us have social media on one sort on another. Just kind of look into it. So you don't even have to pay. Like I said before, you can use these tools without paying. You can get the analytics often. So it's important to keep it simple, create a simple first persona and improve it later. So think of your audience like, who is Bob, who is Alice. Keep it very simple. Name and age range. So Bob, age 30, lifestyle, probably, has a 20K job, spends a lot of time on a computer. Biggest goal is maybe to start his own business. Biggest frustration, doesn't have a lot of money at the moment to spend. Where they spend time online, they spend time on Facebook and TikTok. What influences them to buy something that helps them make money? Then you know what you're creating, right? That is your Bob, and you're creating him to basically get some additional income after his 20K job. He's basically not saving much. He needs to pay bills. He wants a holiday. He wants to make an additional income. I'm going to sell an ebook to make him some extra money on the side. Okay, freelancing, and I'll sell it to Bob. Right? Obviously, Bob doesn't really exist, but every other person that can relate to Bob will buy your product, or that is your audience basically. So keep it simple, and then as you grow your audience and you'll get to know Bob. When I say get to know Bob, I'm talking about your audience. You'll know what they're looking for because you'll read their comments, you'll read the feedback, and your Bob will become more and more like the perfect Bob, like your perfect audience. That is your persona. That is the person you're serving. It could be Alice as well. If it's a female, it's Alice. If it's a male, it's Bob. If it's any other gender, you can also explore that. But you need to understand who your audience is. Okay. So, again, what I would recommend is, we haven't got time because we've kind of went on a bit, but this is we're in the last slide of the presentation, so we've done well, but I haven't got time to give you 10 minutes, unfortunately. But it says take the next 10 minutes to create your own customer persona based on your business or business idea.